Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin announced the reinstatement of the MCO for 6 states as he warns that the country's healthcare system is at the breaking point. They are Penang, Selangor, Malacca, Johor, Sabah and Wilayah Persekutuan, covering Kuala Lumpur, Putrajaya and Labuan. The MCO will be for 2 weeks from January 13 to 26. Interstate travel is now not allowed nationwide, while for areas under MCO, inter-district travel is also restricted. Under the MCO, only businesses in manufacturing, construction, services, trade and distribution, agriculture and commodity sectors will be allowed. Residents in MCO states will be limited to travel within a 10-kilometre radius and only for purchasing necessities, with only 2 persons per household allowed per car. While restaurants would be allowed to open, it would only be for takeaway and delivery. He also announced a conditional MCO would be put in place for Pahang, Perak, Negeri Sembilan, Kedah, Terengganu and Kelantan. For Perlis and Sarawak, they are under recovery MCO. Muhyiddin also gave an update on the vaccine, saying that Malaysia is expecting to receive the first batch of the Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine by end February. The government has inked deals with COVAX, Pfizer and AstraZeneca to cover 40% of the population. It is also in talks with Sinovac, CanSino and Gamaleya to increase the vaccine supply to 80% of the population. He adds that the Health Ministry is also in the process of planning the national COVID-19 immunization program. Today, Malaysia announced 2,232 new COVID-19 cases and 4 new deaths, which brings the death toll to 555. However, there were also 1,006 recoveries reported. The FBM KLCI finished 15.95 points, a 0.98% lower at 1,617.25 as lockdown fears weighed on sentiment. The key index was in negative territory for most of the day, falling to a low of 1,607.53. MIDF research head Imran Yassin Yusof said that some of the weaknesses seen in some of the regional markets could also influence the Malaysian market. He expects a knee-jerk reaction in the stock market following the implementation of the MCO, but adds that the effect will not last as long as previously, given that the vaccination program is currently on the horizon. Market breadth was negative, with losers leading gainers by 650 to 490, with 481 counters unchanged. The Employees Provident Fund has accelerated its efforts in transforming and future-proofing itself amid unpredictability arising in the current decade, including the COVID-19 pandemic, Malaysia's ageing population and the changing work landscape. In its 2019 annual report, CEO Tunku Ali Zakri Alias said the fund's priority going forward would be strengthening a purpose-driven, value-based foundation, evolving from just being a social security organisation to a more inclusive social well-being ecosystem. He adds that sitting at the core of this framework would be sustainability in its responsibility to both its members and for society at large. Meanwhile, also in the EPF's annual report, its new chairman, Tan Sri Ahmad Badri Muhammad Zahir, said that the handing off of the baton to him comes at a time when the global population is entering a new era of change and that his predecessor has left behind big shoes to fill. Ahmad Badri took over on May 1st, 2020 from Tan Sri Samsudin Osman, who held the post from February 2007 to April 2020. Ramsay Sime Darby Healthcare has picked its arrangers for an initial public offering that could raise about $300 million, Bloomberg reports. Quoting people with knowledge of the matter, the report states that Credit Suisse Group, Malayan Banking and Morgan Stanley have been chosen. The share sale could take place as soon as the second half of 2021. The mandates follow Sime Darby's earlier discussions with potential advisors for spin-off plans of its healthcare unit that it jointly owns with Australia's Ramsay Healthcare. Ramsay SD was set up in 2013 and holds a combined hospital portfolio of 6 hospitals located in Malaysia and Indonesia, as well as a day surgery facility in Hong Kong. However, it should be noted that deliberations are still ongoing and the details of the IPO could still change. Malaysia's unemployment rate rose by 0.1 percentage points month-on-month to 4.8% in November 2020, with 764,400 unemployed persons, according to the Department of Statistics. Chief Statistician Datuk Sri Dr. Muhammad Uzair Maidin said the conditional MCO resulted in a small decrease in employment, while the unemployment rate was slightly higher compared with the previous month. Bernama quoted him as saying that it may be due to job losses and cancellation or freezing of new hires. Muhammad Uzair said the number of unemployed persons rose by 2.2% to 16,200 persons to 764,400 in November. He adds that the number of employed persons dropped by 11,000 to 15.2 million persons in November after recording an upwards trend for 5 consecutive months. Muhammad Uzair said that with the continuous uncertainty in the economic and health situations worldwide as well as in the country, softer labour demand might continue in December 2020.